stay at home in the lockdown period, and in the Amphan, a dreadful storm, a cyclonic storm, don't go outside. Now, today I shall start a new lesson number 3, The Passing Away of Bapu, written by Nayantara Sehgal, who is the daughter of Vijay Lakshmi Pandit, niece of famous Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. Nayantara Sehgal she was born in 1927, and this text is taken from her memoir. The name of the memoir is Prison and Chocolate Cake, which was published in 1954. She got the Sahitya Academy Award in 1986 for a novel Rich Like Us. Also got Sinclair Prize in 1983, and other prizes, Commonwealth Writers Prize, and so on. Commonwealth Writers Award in 1987. In the Passing Away Bapu, are you familiar with the name of Bapu? Bapu means Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, one of the outstanding political leaders of India during the independent era, pre-independent era, especially the pre-independent era, who waged war against the colonial power with the help of his three-pronged mechanisms: non-violence, non-cooperation, and passive resistance. These are the three-pronged movement. Now, come to the essay. This is actually the story ends. It recounts the tale of the tragic death of Mahatma Gandhi. I am starting the first section of the unit 1. I was having tea at home on evening 30 January 1948 when I was called to Birla House by an urgent telephone. 30th January 1948. Remember the date? This is very important. Birla House now is known as Gandhi City, where Gandhiji spent his last 144 days of his life. Nayantara Sehgal was having tea. At that time, she was called by an urgent telephone call. Gandhiji had been, and the news was that Gandhiji had been shot on his way to a prayer meeting. Gandhiji used to go to the prayer meeting every day, so he was shot dead. I was numb with sorrow as I got into the car. She was absolutely shocked and paralyzed by the news, like it's a bolt from the blue. বিনামেকে বজ্রপাতের মতো তার কাছে সংবাদটা ছিল। At the Birla House, Gandhiji's relatives and followers had gathered around his body. All the relatives and others and the followers of Gandhi, they gathered around, assembled around the dead body of Gandhi, either to pay their respect or to have a last look. There was silence in the room as Gandhiji breathed his last. The room was absolutely silent. Words of Bapuji's death had spread through Delhi like a flame fanned by wind. The word is there. Flame fanned by wind. Spread very fast. The news spread like the like the fire, fanned by the wind. Sad groups of men and women had collected around Birla House. Out of every window, one could see a brown blur of faces. Many people were peeping through their windows, verandas. They did not make a sound, but everybody was silent. There was an unnatural silence. And the silence was not natural because the most untoward incident, unpleasant incident had happened. And India lost one of the greatest freedom fighters. It was as if time stood still for those few minutes. The author's feeling is that even the time stopped to lament the death of Gandhiji. The people were too stunned to speak in the beginning. They were so stunned that they could not speak at the beginning. Later they clamored, began to cry, wildly shouting and crying. They jostled one another, ঠেলাঠেলি করতে লাগলো, in a stampede, ভিড় প্রচুর, গাদা লোক হয়েছে, ঠেলাঠেলি করছে. Who'll have they tried to get a view of Gandhi at last, for the last time, and broke into the house. They calmed a little when it was announced that they would be allowed to see Gandhiji before the funeral. But an announcement was made that everybody would be allowed to see Gandhiji before the funeral. Funeral means the last rite or the cremation. Seskritto. When one is faced with the shock of a loved death, one whimpers. This is the feeling of the authoress. যখন আমরা প্রিয়জনের বিয়োগ ঘটে, মৃত্যু ঘটে, তখন আমরা জোরেও কাঁদতে পারি, ফুপিয়ে ফুপিয়ে বোমানি কান্না একটা. What will become of me now that he has left me? This is a crucial question, not only for Nayantara Sehgal, but it was a crucial question for the followers of Gandhiji, for most of the Indians. This was surely the question uppermost in the mind of the mourning people. They looked like lost children. They have lost their father because Gandhiji was called, popularly known, called the father of the nation. It was the question in many of our hearts as we sat, still shocked and unbelieving. They couldn't believe that Gandhiji could be shot. Gandhiji could be killed. Everybody think that he had no enemies at all. We listened to the broadcast telling the people of India that their Bapu was no more. So in the broadcast in radio, that the tragic date of Gandhiji, the news of the tragic date of Gandhiji was broadcast. And the whole India came to know this tragic news. This is the first unit in which Nayantara Sehgal described and narrated her own feelings at the sudden tragic death of Gandhiji. Now, there are some important multiple choice type questions. Gandhiji had been shot on his way to the Birla House, the author's house, a prayer meeting, a family gathering. It will be a prayer meeting. The author came to know of Gandhiji's death by later a telephone call, a telegram, a public broadcast. It will be an urgent telephone. The answer will be a telephone call. When one is faced with the shock of a loved one's death, there are several multiple, and you will have to choose among them. The answer will be whimpers. Now fill in the chart with information from the text. 2. Date on which Gandhiji was shot. 30th January 1948. The answer will be. the place where Gandhiji breathed his last. It will be Birla House. Information given by the broadcast. Bapu was no more. State 3, exercise 3. State whether the following statements are true or false. Provide sentences, phrases or words in support of the answer. Supporting sentences will be supplied. The author received an urgent telephone call in the morning. She received an urgent telephone call, but it was not in the morning. It was in the evening. So it will be false, and the supporting sentence would be in the manner that she received the call in the evening. People attempted to break into the Birla House. It's true. It's a supporting sentence that they jostled each other and made a stampede to have last look of Gandhiji. The news of Gandhiji's death did not shock the people. It's false. But everybody was stunned. So stunned. And that the people were too stunned to speak. So it's a false. The first unit is completed. Now, we will in the next day we will teach the second unit. You attend the class regularly and follow it. Now come to the vocabulary. These are very important for the proper understanding of the story. Urgent means important. We have arranged it in 3 columns to see the opposite words also. Synonym and antonym. Urgent means synonym important, opposite word trivial or unimportant. Noun paralyzed, opposite word or antonym is sensitive. Followers, synonym supporters, antonym leaders. Silence, calm, opposite word noise or clamor. Unbelieving, that cannot be believed, is synonym. Opposite word believing. Surely, synonym is certainly. Opposite word uncertainly. Unnatural, strange means its synonym, and antonym is natural. But there are some meanings. Phrases like breathed his last means died. Flame fanned by wind, spread very fast. Stunned, bewildered, হতভম্ব হয়ে যাওয়া. Clamored, গঙিয়ে কাটা. Stampede, sudden rush, লোক ছুটোছুটি হুড়োহুড়ি করা. Whimpers makes low crying sound. Funeral means cremation, শেষকৃত্য. Thank you for being with me. I thank you again for following. I think that you have been following each and every classes, and if you are not, if you don't, it would be, you will have to face the music in the long run, because the classes are now suspended for the COVID-19 or corona disease. So you will have, we have nothing to make contact with you except this digital method or classes made through spread through smartphone. Those who have smartphone have their access to the smartphone will make the most of it, and please share the lesson or share the classes among your friends so that everybody is benefited by the classes. Thank you very much.